I recently had the most extreme and devious destiny swap energy pop up in my energy. It was being done by Libra energy. Since the content creator Angels Kinney is literally the only Libra I have ever at all truly voluntarily given love, attention, and affection to, I see everything I'm exposing here as a culmination of everything she has been intentionally, almost maliciously doing to me in her extremely egregious violation of my energy that she's been doing for the last at least 8+ years ever since we met. And she's been intentionally, almost maliciously trying to frame me as intentionally, almost maliciously doing it all to her. She intended to destiny swap with me, where she wanted to leave me completely broke, homeless, with no food, no support, and ultimately murdered, committing suicide, or in and out of jail and or prison for the rest of my life as a direct and sole result of her. She wanted to steal my soul and my life from me and then permanently silence me to cover it up, while completely falsely framing me as if I've in reality secretly always been trying to do that to her, which I obviously do not, never have, and never will at all consent to. I know this because if that was not the case, she would have already directly contacted me and practically started begging profusely to meet up with me in person, in real life, ASAP, with the extremely clear intent of dating me and ultimately embracing an extremely serious, long-term, private and public life partnership with extensive intimacy between us privately. The kind of connection I've always been saying I've always wanted with her. No, I'm not joking at all. And I will never say otherwise, absolutely unconditionally. I am not, never have been, and never will be at all wanting, needing, attempting, and or willing to tolerate my feelings towards Kimmy and or the kind of treatment I deserve from her to be scattered across all Libra energies. At all. Nor towards any other specific Libra, group of Libras, different zodiac sign, group of any combination of zodiac signs, and or any other energetic source and or destination of any kind, for any reason. Kimmy has been constantly benefiting off making me seem like I'm truly the one that got away from her, by making it seem like I was ever okay seeing her as the one that truly got away from me. While in reality, she should have fully known all along that that's not, never has been, and never will be at all the case. I will never tolerate having anyone be the one that got away. You either stay properly, leave properly, or you're dead to me, and I make sure your death doesn't feel like you somehow escaped my wrath through it. No negotiation, no exceptions. Kimmy's also been constantly benefiting off seeming really slick with other people too, not even just at all romantic connections. Because of how she's been falsely portraying me as obsessed with coming off as slick and how I deal with everyone, even including entirely non-romantic connections. And she's been hiding it with how she constantly benefits from being someone very difficult to keep, by falsely portraying me as always having been obsessed with making others feel like they were always going to be unable to take care of me how I deserve, no matter what kind of person Kimmy is or how she ever treats me. And now it's truly just too late for anyone to even really ever be able to even really try because of what Kimmy's done. Because I'm truly just completely done ever giving humanity any more chances if I really can't have the connection with Kimmy I've always wanted. She's been trying to make it seem like she's been taking care of me the way I deserve, as if she's one of very few, if any, that actually know what that would really be. While in reality, she's been extremely egregiously mistreating me constantly. Even if nobody else knows, Kimmy really doesn't seem to know at all either. Kimmy's been constantly benefiting off making me seem like I'm obsessed with being a heartbreaker, as if it comes naturally to me. And she's been trying to cause me to break people's hearts without even realizing it and without meaning to do it to people, while forcing me into a spot where I unintentionally remain alluring in the same kind of manner and therefore perpetuate the same cycles, even if it's in reality entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. So she could enjoy obsessively, intentionally breaking people's hearts, including even mine, and yet still remain feeling alluring to people. So Kimmy's been constantly benefiting off constantly leaving me so brutally disrespected and neglected in a specific manner where she tried to maximize the most people possible, constantly questioning what I'm gonna do next, while constantly trying to manipulate and force out of me what I'd do next in a manner she personally could understand, interpret, and emotionally resonate with or manipulate for her own selfish gain with complete disregard for the impact that would have on me. So she could play off of it and act like it was all her idea or somehow she deserves most or all of the credit for any of my behavior she felt like stealing credit for. She wanted to permanently steal main character energy from me. She's constantly, intentionally, almost maliciously been trying to leave me hurt and confused while she constantly played victim to everyone and tried to act like I was doing that to her while she knew all along it makes absolutely no real sense to believe that. Kimmy's been extremely extensively, intentionally, almost maliciously causing chaos and confusion around if my completely sincere physical attraction to her, which still only even more intensely exists to this day, somehow secretly means I'm really attracted to or invested in her general character development for some kind of ulterior motive that in reality does not, never has, and never will exist. Because she's been trying to hide that she's in reality had ulterior motives in any attraction she's ever shown towards me, while she in reality fully knew all along, or at least most certainly has fully known for a long time, and most definitely should have known, that any such ulterior motives is, always has been, and always will be entirely non-existent in me. Kimmy's even currently actively, constantly benefiting from people wanting to know what I'm going to do next, from a lot of people seeing mystery in me, which they're probably wrongly going to her in order to try to be guided on what the next big thing is and that I might be planning to involve myself in. She has no idea, and I most certainly will never be sharing it with her with how she's been treating me. Kimmy's been using my energy to stay unpredictable to those in her life as she feeds some obsession she has with wanting to make everyone else in her life regret losing her and all the times they didn't care to keep her in their life or work harder to make sure that she felt seen and heard, while demonizing me by making it seem like I have such an obsession, while she in reality has always known I do not, or at least she certainly should have. She's driven away a lot of people that might want to be closer to me who simply can't anymore because of her, while she's intentionally, almost maliciously refusing to actually come towards me or be warmer or fairer at all to me either. It's an extremely devious destiny swap because of multiple aspects. She's intentionally, utmost maliciously, used her zodiac sign to generally make it seem like I find much more significance in it than I ever really have, as if I particularly resonate with astrology related to them, where in reality it's been entirely her own energy heavily fixated or obsessed with astrology and related concepts. She's intentionally, almost maliciously, caused chaos and confusion around if she's even really a Libra, however she could, or if whatever she was swapping my destiny with energy through was a Libra. Very likely she destiny swapped with others and then destiny swapped with me through them to at least some extent. Additionally, there's a primary focus on placing me in a Libra moon, but there's ambiguity on whether the placement could be a sun or a moon or both. So she's heavily, almost maliciously, tried to manipulate both my sun and moon signs and tried to destiny swap both. And there's a very clear energy coming through of a lot of people knowing that she's sacrificed something in her life or made a great effort to make sure that something of her past never comes back up, especially in relation to my energy. She's been trying to cause a lot of confusion about which is the case. So she's been trying to make me seem like I've always been trying to sacrifice her, or at least certainly some kind of aspect of my connection with her, and that I've secretly been making a great effort to make sure that never comes back up, despite supposedly a lot of people knowing about how I supposedly sacrificed in relation to Kimmy. In reality, no such sacrifice has ever existed at all by me, nor have I ever been at all willing to ever tolerate it being forced upon me. No negotiation, no exceptions. Anyone claiming I've ever at all chosen to sacrifice anything in my connection with Kimmy that I've been saying I've wanted all along is a massive liar and fraud, and has always been purporting whatever they've been purporting as such, entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. And they did so fully, knowingly, intentionally, utmost maliciously so. Kimmy's been intentionally, utmost maliciously, constantly benefiting from playing victim, from whatever she's been saying I've been putting her through, because she desperately wants to hide how much worse everything she's done to me is than anything I've ever done to her. Because I really don't look like what I've been through, and she's been trying to get a bunch of pity and sympathy from others by making whatever she's been through look a lot worse than it really has been through exploiting my energy. She's been trying to cloak in my energy endlessly to make herself constantly look like something completely mysterious and different than whatever she's struggled with. Like she overcame hardships in her life with a lot more grace than she actually has, while knowingly, utmost maliciously neglecting me, despite her knowing I truly give off that energy much more than she ever really has. Kimmy's been actively, intentionally, utmost maliciously exploiting the understanding that I'm not being difficult. She just didn't want to work to really understand me on a deeper level. Because she wants to play victim and make it seem like whenever anyone else calls her difficult, it's because they just didn't want to work to really understand her on a deeper level. There's nothing deeper to understand in her if she's going to continue to disrespect and neglect me and try to endlessly avoid behaving like an at all, even remotely decent human being to me. if she continues to just fucking make excuse after excuse not to communicate properly with me, not to commit to me properly, not to even really give things a chance between us, how she's acting, she's just a massive fucking narcissist, psychopath, piece of shit who's completely irredeemable, and there's really nothing more to it. She's been trying to make it seem like I should constantly be realizing she was never actually being difficult. She was just being herself. As if I'm often mistaking her supposedly innocent flow state for her being impulsive. She wanted everyone to believe her extremely egregious impulsivity is some fundamentally harmless flow state by egregiously disrespecting and neglecting that I'm the one that in reality was never being difficult in how I've dealt with her. I was just being myself. That she's the one that's often intentionally, almost maliciously seen it as, or at least tried to frame it as, me just being impulsive. She's been trying to make me seem like I'm the type that just goes wherever the road takes me kind of thing. Like I don't really have direction in life, I hardly plan ahead, and I'm excessively spontaneous. Because she's wanted to hide that in reality, she's clearly the one a lot more inclined to that kind of attitude and behavior than I've ever been. And it's clearly gotten her into a lot of problems that she forced me to deal with, her traumas and issues and whatever stress she brought upon herself as a result of. Which she always did to me with absolutely no consideration whatsoever for the strain and negative impact it would bring my life. She's constantly, intentionally, almost maliciously been leaving me in a state with my energy seeming as if the next thing coming into my life is some sort of invitation likely to reconnect or reconcile with someone. Because I should have been like a ghost haunting them all the time, so much that they felt the need to make things right for all the wrongs they've done to me. While she in reality was just channeling that energy entirely for herself and constantly causing people to want to give her some sort of communication and maybe invitations to things and maybe trying to reconnect or reconcile with her. Because she'd abuse my efforts to haunt them entirely at my expense while giving me absolutely nothing in return for so massively helping her. Meanwhile, absolutely nobody ever has been trying to reconcile with me, and any even attempts at any kind of reconnection anyone from my past ever might have done to me ever since I've met Kimmy have all only ever come in the most harmful and unwanted manner possible at the most undesirable times possible. And to hide her basically trying to control everyone in her life and force them to reconcile with her or reconnect with her however she wanted, Kimmy would try to make it seem like for her, it's more about something deeply poetic coming towards her in life, like possibly an opportunity she was always looking for to really communicate somehow to people that something is done and over with and that she's free somehow. But she's also heavily exploited, making it seem like she was looking for such an opportunity, only to, in most cases, just be looking to meet people she wanted to see herself as being on the same wavelength as her, especially more mysterious people. While she left me completely unable to both properly form new connections and unable to properly end connections I've long wanted completely cut out of my life. I've also never even been looking to meet anyone new or particularly cared about what wavelength they're on, and certainly never particularly focused on or cared for if they seem or are mysterious ever since I met Kimmy. And she's in reality known that extremely clearly all this time. Or at least she most certainly should have known it. I really find it basically impossible to believe she hasn't, in reality, already known it for many years, at the very least at this point. Kimmy's been trying to put into question if I ever want to connect or reconnect with anyone that simply has the same archetype as me, where they're coming at me with the same energy as if I never really got to know it and I crave knowing it better. When in reality, I've long already seen through the personalities of everyone I've had in my life in the past, and I was trying to run away from all of them as fast and as far as at all reasonably possible, since before I ever even met Kimmy. I was really hoping Kimmy wouldn't just be another poisonous, toxic, scumbag, jackass narcissist I'd regret and resent ever having encountered in my life. But she instead became the very person utmost aggressively and unapologetically tormenting and terrorizing me with the exact same kind of perpetual, sheer, hellish nightmare I'd feared most my entire life would be all I'd ever know or really experience. I've never had any particular fixation at all with any archetype in general, much less had any desire and or willingness to tolerate continually connecting or reconnecting with all the toxic, shitty, same kind of ones I've already encountered in my life. Kimmy's also intentionally, almost maliciously, been causing chaos and confusion around if the manner in which I supposedly wanted to meet these archetypes of people was simply in passing, or if for some reason in general both me and that other person both just weren't aware of one another on a level we should have at the time she was trying to force me to suffer through dealing with their bullshit attempts to connect or reconnect with me. While she fully knew all along, or at least most certainly should have known, that I absolutely do not at all meaningfully lack awareness of what kind of person they all are, and I couldn't care less whether I met them in passing or knew of them for years or was related to them by blood or anything else. And when she saw exploiting my energy to try to attract people that would resonate with her, would also bring with it people that no longer resonate with her or couldn't hold her energy, she'd steal opportunities from me to attract people that would resonate with me, and she'd try to endlessly dump onto me the full extent and weight of attracting people that no longer resonate with me or could never really hold my energy. She'd intentionally, almost maliciously, actively overindulge in getting a lot of attention from a lot of people who would come towards her through her egregious, relentless, increasingly harmful violation of my energy. She'd basically force people to want to connect with her and at least talk to her because she made herself seem so mysterious that she'd basically try to force people to not feel okay if they couldn't figure out why she seemed so mysterious somehow. And at the same time, she always intended to never let those people have their curiosity for that mystery satisfied or alleviated. She's behaved in a manner where she's basically not supposed to, where her life falls apart and becomes completely dysfunctional and non-viable if she does. She's voluntarily subjected herself to exceedingly vicious, predatory, overly competitive people who would want to steal or siphon whatever mysterious aspect or whatever she's been trying to build for herself from her, while she's been actively seeking out those same exact people to be drawn to her through her pushing me away. And she intentionally, almost maliciously, kept trying to leave me trapped and stuck in a place where I couldn't ever move forward in life if I didn't figure out why the fuck my life was only an increasingly brutal nightmare with opportunities and future prospects only increasingly brutally, seemingly absolutely unconditionally slipping away from me, no matter how hard I tried to figure out why and stop it without ultimately essentially being completely robbed blind of my soul one way or another in the process. Kimmy's been egregiously exploiting a perception of what she's probably considered unconditional love. She expects me to have to stick around in her life and let her treat me basically however horribly she wants, otherwise she plays victim and acts like I approached her disingenuously from the very beginning and just never really resonated with her at all. Basically, she frames me as if I've been stalking and terrorizing her all this time, as if she didn't fully, knowingly, extremely, greatly enjoy my presence in her life all along, while she very much in reality knows she's enjoyed it a lot. She's had some strange, extreme obsession, in particular, with some kind of dark feminine or dark masculine archetype where she preys on people like me who can be extremely dark but without being a horrible person or being really maliciously manipulative. She's been intentionally, utmost maliciously exploiting my energy to constantly look for and try to get more opportunities to make new friends or meet new people that are on that same archetype, which she doesn't really care to carefully consider their true selfishness in relation to, as long as they facilitated her maintaining the illusion she's been trying to portray of me that made her seem like this extremely elusive, mysterious, amazing person she's in reality never been. She has been especially focused on exploiting my energy to try to secure or guarantee connecting with powerful spiritual or mysterious people, or at the very least, people that have a mysterious energy. She has been constantly looking for new experiences and opportunities at my expense, while leaving me completely stuck with the same exact nightmare of the same exact loop of absolutely miserable experiences and the same exact absolutely miserable, extremely predictable, and entirely undesirable connections, if any, with anyone I ever have any kind of interaction with, both online and offline. Kimmy's specifically especially been acting like I've ever been okay with people seeing her like some kind of dirty little secret I see as the one that got away. Because she in reality never really felt like she actually resonates with me at all, and she's secretly been trying to make me and everyone else from her past lose our minds when we see whoever she ultimately wanted to end up with. Or when we see that she ultimately just wanted to end up alone with two cats or whatever, I guess, rather than being with anyone, because she considers ever actually dating anyone to mean being under their control. Because she clearly has some extremely unhealthy view on relationships, and she has serious attachment issues she seems to want to take to an early grave rather than be an even remotely actually decent person to me. She's been acting like she's doing me some kind of favor, letting me go to find someone that supposedly resonates with me more, while in reality she fully knows I'm just going to isolate myself and start extremely deeply resenting all of humanity for never even really being given a chance with her. She has been trying to free herself from everything people wanted her to be that she ever at all didn't find preferable, and for the mystery surrounding her and how she's able to do that to be something that makes them always think about her, while leaving me trapped in being everything people wanted me to be that I ever at all found to not be preferable to me at all. And she tried to completely rob me of having any element of mystery surrounding my existence, to the point that nobody ever thinks about me. Lots of roses is somehow relevant to the energy. I have absolutely no idea why. Roses, in any quantity or any context, have absolutely no particular meaning to me. They never have. The song Heartbreaker by Led Zeppelin is relevant to the energy too. But neither that song nor that artist in general are anything that has ever been special to me or have ever meant anything particular to me personally. The medium seemed to be personally involved in the production of music, and I consider that confirmation that it's highly likely that Kimmy has been extensively somehow divination abusing with music in order to attempt to achieve all this. I also got what I consider confirmation that it's also highly likely that Kimmy has been extensively somehow divination abusing through Instagram in order to achieve all this as well. Kimmy hoping to leave me desperately codependent on keeping up with her social medias and whatever content she ever releases in general, and being forced to give her input or seek her help somehow on how to proceed in my life in general is also definitely relevant, although perhaps a lot less so at this point than she would have liked. The general concept of love combined with some tendency towards and or variations of wishing others a wonderful day might also be things Kimmy's been extensively divination abusing through in order to achieve all this. Looking into the medium a bit, they don't do readings on pregnancy nor medical situations. I'm not overly concerned about any medical conditions Kimmy may have, and at this point, even if she has some terminal illness or something, it's not just going to suddenly change my position anyways. I don't feel she's expressed any serious or sincere concern for my health at all, but that doesn't ever suddenly change my position either. Nor do I believe I should have to try extremely hard to prove my health somehow to be worthy of her behaving very differently in how she handles her connection with me. I've already stated and will forever persist in my position that Kimmy should not get pregnant, whether with me or anyone else, and I have absolutely no desire to get anyone pregnant ever. I've always maintained this position extremely straightforwardly. I've never engaged in sexual activity that should ever result in me having children, and I've never planned to at all waver from that position, even if Kimmy would be willing to do absolutely whatever I want. If somehow some maniac got their hands on my semen and impregnated themselves or someone else, I'd want any and all such children immediately eliminated permanently from existence, absolutely unconditionally. Kimmy never should have engaged in sexual activity that could result in having children, or she at the very least should have gotten an abortion and never seen any pregnancy through if she ever got pregnant. If she ever saw any pregnancy through, well, in all honesty, let's just say I'd want any and all such children immediately eliminated permanently from existence, absolutely unconditionally as well. I consider their existence life-threatening to me. And to make sure I'm being clear, whenever I've addressed pregnancy and abortion without explicitly stating some differing interpretation of such things, I've meant in the literal sense of biological reproduction, not some spiritual, metaphorical, or alternative interpretation. I've never meant it to be interpreted as some kind of aversion to being a content creator or having an audience for the content I'd create or anything like that. And again, so we're clear, so Kimmy can't now go off on some complete bullshit trying to cry victim and throw pity parties for herself and try to spin things on me and make me seem like I'm too cold or closed off or scary or whatever the fuck excuse she wants to now make to try to make it seem like she's secretly dying to reach out to me and I'm just not approachable or secretly don't want her to or some bullshit. I want more than anything else, literally ever, for Kimmy to actually behave in a manner that seriously challenges this interpretation of her existence. I am not overly closed off or unapproachable. I am not the fucking problem. She just absolutely refuses to stop making excuses and trying to blame me for supposedly not caring or not wanting it bad enough or whatever bullshit she's saying. Even after all this, I'm still not closed off to Kimmy directly contacting me, explaining herself, and starting to actually treat me properly. If she's seriously going to stop fucking around and start treating me properly. Otherwise, I'm truly rapidly seeing less and less reason for me not to formally sue and probably ultimately press criminal charges on her if she continues to refuse to do so any longer. And if she's really going to push me there, then my heart is truly permanently closed off to humanity forever, and all that's left is to fulfill an extremely dark prophecy I never wanted to even threaten long ago. Kimmy's not actually providing me with any real explanation to justify her behavior at all adequately, neither publicly nor privately. And that leaves me increasingly, extremely, deeply disturbed and left feeling disrespected, neglected, abandoned, and left for dead by her. And that truly hurts me beyond the capability of words to ever adequately describe. I'm seriously not making this unclear at all. If Kimmy seriously pushes me to formally sue and possibly also press criminal charges on her, my overall position on humanity in that case will never change. If I don't get the connection with her that I've been saying I've always wanted, then I will truly, utmost despise all of humanity forever. In that case, I truly will never date anyone, never at all entertain even considering it. And I most certainly will never allow anyone from my past back in my life, no matter what. I absolutely unconditionally refuse to wait indefinitely. I absolutely unconditionally refuse to wait a long time. I am literally in completely fucking undeserved, extremely life-threatening, total deprivation of every fucking aspect of my existence because of Kimmy. A lack of prompt, official, direct communication to me from Kimmy at this point is extremely aggressively forcing me to immediately actively start pursuing, formally suing her. There is absolutely no good excuse for such behavior whatsoever. I seriously will not hold back any longer if she chooses to behave so exceedingly egregiously maliciously towards me. I absolutely unconditionally refuse to fucking wait around for the next murder attempt on me while scumbag pieces of shit from my past are constantly trying to do spell work to delay, deplete, and destroy me like it's fucking fun for me or something. It's really not. At all. So, again, this is not at all a compromise of my integrity. This serves as only further reinforcing the integrity I've always asserted myself to have, and how I've truly always been living fully authentically in everything I've been saying publicly and privately all these years ever since I met Kimmy. I will not be guilt-tripped. I will not be shamed. I don't need to be humbled or learn some lesson. No debate, no negotiation.